A frequently asked question from many of my clients is, how best do I market my product? Most of the time what they're looking for is it better to market on social media or take out a radio ad or a TV ad? But one of the things that I always share with my clients is what I call the viable customer model. And the point of the viable customer model says that basically that not always are clients viable. They may be potential customers, but they may not be viable. In an example, let's say you are a used car dealer. In the case of selling a used car, if you're like me, for example, I might replace a vehicle once every 5 years. And to that extent, I probably will never be without a vehicle for more than 2 weeks at a time. And as a result of that, if you think about that, and let's just do some simple math. We take 5 years, all right, and let's say there was 50 weeks in a year to make the math rather simply. That's 250 weeks. And of that 250 weeks, I'm only viable for replacing a vehicle 2 out of those 250 weeks. That's not very good for what we'll call mass marketing kinds of things to be able to attract a new customer. Where the viable customer model comes in is it's identifying who else knows that the customer is in fact viable. So if I use the car example again, if I was to get in a car accident, I would probably be a viable customer to replace my vehicle. Now, there would be a couple people that would know that in fact I had just wrecked my vehicle and I'm viable to buy another vehicle. I might make an outbound call to my insurance company informing them of my accident. There may be a police officer who comes at the scene and records the event. There probably would be a tow truck driver that will tow my vehicle to either a repair facility or to some type of a salvage lot. And so those people are in fact understand that I am now viable. And so if you can convince those people through an individual value proposition to share those leads with you, that's what I call my viable customer model. And so if I drill down a little bit more, not everybody is going to be incentivized the same way. So a tow truck driver might easily be incentivized by a monetary situation, whereby you say, here's a bunch of business cards that I'm going to go give you to my dealership. If one of these shows up in my dealership, I will go ahead and no questions asked, I will just send you a check for $100. In that case, I can tell you that the tow truck driver would probably be your biggest social agent for the next 20 minutes while he's driving with the individual to wherever he's dropping the vehicle off, telling you what a great business that you have and why you should buy a car because he's monetarily incentivized to do that. On the other hand, let's say the insurance company, an insurance agent may not be willing to go ahead and share his clients' names simply for $100. So what in a situation like that, perhaps the value proposition might be a little bit different for that insurance agent. Since the same period of time, in other words, the time of which an individual might think about changing his insurance company is probably when he makes a claim. All right, if he's having a bad time with his current insurance company, it might be a great opportunity to say to the insurance person, if you participate in my viable customer model referral program, I will go ahead and I will place an ad on my car listings, that, a banner ad at the bottom, so that maybe you have something to the state of, hey, did your last, insurance company screw you over? Did they only pay you for 3 out of 4 wheels? That kind of thing. And essentially put that on the bottom and say, come to Honest Steve's insurance company or something like that. So in other words, when they're viable to buy a car, they may be also at a point where they might be thinking about changing their insurance companies. That's what I call the viable customer model. And for me, when it comes down to marketing, to be able to implement any kind of viable customer model is the ideal way to do any kind of marketing.